On the night of May 25th, in a rural community in Mexico, the ground inside a family's backyard opened and started boiling. Hot water and steam shot 15 meters into the air. A 4-meter wide crater formed in the middle of the pig pens. Within hours, the family was gone, the preschool was closed, and a perimeter was up. The danger is not lava, it is what is happening underneath. The community is El Salitre, in the municipality of Ixtlán de los Hervores, Michoacán. The opening happened around 9 at night on Monday, May 25th. Hot water, steam, mud, and sulfur-smelling gases vented through a 4-meter fracture. The jet reached 15 meters, subsided to 8, and by Wednesday had reduced to continuous bubbling mud. Specialists measured temperatures close to 86 degrees Celsius near boiling. 11 mud pools were mapped, 3 inside the property, 8 on adjacent land. 13 people were evacuated. The preschool suspended classes, gas tanks were removed. It is no longer a question of whether the ground will open. It already has. The question is what is moving underneath it. But here is the detail that tells the real story. Within hours of the first videos circulating on social media, the framing went catastrophic: a new geyser, a new volcano, Mexico's next precaution. UNAM specialists arrived. Dr. Ruth Esther Villanueva Estrada of the Institute of Geophysics in Morelia led the field assessment. Her conclusion, published on May 29th, settled the catastrophic versions. This is not the birth of a new volcano. There is no evidence of magma ascending. This is not technically a new geyser either. What it is something quieter and harder to walk away from. The family who lived on the property is now displaced. The preschool teacher who closed her classroom on May 26th has not reopened. The pigs that did not make it out of the corrals. The UNAM team mapping what just emerged from underneath someone's farm. For more than a century, the hot springs of Ixtlán de los Hervores stayed where the maps said they were. On May 25th, the underground opened somewhere new inside someone's pig pens. It is not a volcano, it is not a geyser. But the ground is hot, unstable, and opening, and a family cannot go home. Here is what happened that night. It was a Monday. Around 9 in the evening, residents reported hearing low sounds underground. Within minutes, the ground in the patio broke open. A fracture 4 meters in diameter formed in the soil. Through it came hot water, steam, mud, and a strong smell of sulfur. The first column reached 15 meters into the air. White vapor, sediment, and superheated water rising from a hole that had not existed an hour before. The pig pens were directly over the opening. An unknown number of pigs were killed boiled, scalded, or asphyxiated by the steam and gases. Within hours, Michoacán State Civil Protection was on site. The perimeter was set. Gas tanks were removed. By the next morning, the evacuation had grown to nearby homes 13 people in total. The preschool suspended classes. Animals were relocated. The Federal Electricity Commission arrived for thermal measurements. UNAM and CENAPRED dispatched specialist teams. By Wednesday morning, the original jet had reduced to a continuous bubbling mud state with constant gas emissions. But the system was not finished. On the adjacent land, 8 new pools had opened. The ground was not closing, it was spreading. Here is what the specialists concluded. By Tuesday morning, the videos were circulating widely. The catastrophic interpretations followed immediately. A new geyser, a new volcano, magma rising under the village. Mexico's next precaution, the volcano that famously emerged from a Michoacán cornfield in 1943. The fear was visible. The interpretation was wrong. On Wednesday, May 27th, the specialist team arrived. Dr. Villanueva of the National Autonomous University of Mexico's Institute of Geophysics in Morelia led the field assessment. On May 29th, the team published the conclusion. The first part was direct. There is no evidence of magma ascending toward the surface. Not a volcano. Not the beginning of one. The second part was more nuanced. The El Salitre event is also not technically a geyser. Geysers eject water and steam in intermittent bursts driven by pressure that builds in a confined underground chamber. The pattern at El Salitre does not match. What is happening is something different and something the region has been documenting under a different name for more than a century. The correct term is surface hydrothermal manifestations. Hot fluids, gases, and mud rising through fractures. The ruling out was important. The danger did not go away with it. Here is how the ground actually works underneath El Salitre. The community sits on the Ixtlán fault, a deep geological fracture that allows fluids from underground to circulate upward. The region is part of the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt. But the El Salitre event is not driven by magma. It is driven by heat depth, water, and rock combining into something that has been quietly running for millions of years. Rainfall and groundwater seep downward through the fault. At depth, the water encounters hot rock. It absorbs the heat. It picks up dissolved gases. The mixture, now hot and pressurized, looks for a way back to the surface. When it finds a fracture, it rises and emerges as steam, water, mud, or gas. This system has been documented since 1906. The name Ixtlán de los Hervores translates roughly to Ixtlán, of the boilings the town was named for what its springs were doing before geologists measured them. The hot springs reach 48 to 94 degrees Celsius. 3 natural geysers operate in the municipality. A few kilometers away, in Los Negritos, the same system has produced mud volcanoes. A similar event happened in this area in 2017. What changed on May 25th was not the system. What changed was that the system opened somewhere new inside a family's pig pens. Here is what the specialists found when they mapped the site. Between May 25th and 29th, the UNAM team mapped 11 mud pools. 3 were inside the property in the patio and the corrales. 8 more had opened on adjacent land. Some surfaces reached temperatures close to 86 degrees Celsius. 86 degrees is 14 below the boiling point of water at sea level. It is hot enough to cause third-degree burns on human skin in less than a second. It is hot enough to kill livestock that step into it. The gases were identified as ammonia, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide, the same chemistry recorded in Ixtlán's thermal springs for more than a century. The concentrations were low, but hydrogen sulfide in a confined space is dangerous even at low concentrations. The family has not returned since May 26th. The 13 evacuated are still in temporary housing. The preschool has not reopened. The pigs in the corrals did not all make it out. For the UNAM team, the site is a unique opportunity to study active hydrothermal systems. For the family, it is a home that is no longer safe to enter. Here is why the monitoring is not ending. 8 of the 11 pools opened on land adjacent to the original property. The system has been spreading. The Ixtlán fault is regional. It underlies more than just El Salitre. New vents could open on other properties along the same fracture. The UNAM team continues daily measurements. Temperatures at each pool. Gas samples. Water chemistry. Pressure. They are looking for temperature spikes, changes in fluid composition, and new pools forming elsewhere. The number of pools today is 11. The number tomorrow could be different, and it is still not over. UNAM has ruled out the catastrophic interpretations: no new volcano, no magma ascending, no formal geyser. But civil protection has not lifted the perimeter. The family has not returned. The preschool has not reopened. The 11 pools are still bubbling. The question is not whether a new volcano is forming. UNAM has answered that. The question is whether the hydrothermal system stays where it is or opens somewhere else. The question is what it means when the ground under a family's pig pens turns to boiling mud overnight. It is not a volcano. It is not a geyser. But the ground is hot, unstable, and opening, and a family cannot go home. 11 pools. 86 degrees. 13 people who cannot go back. If this story is worth telling, subscribe. We cover more of these every week.